Counting on this. Well,
And
if we're going to have to go live, let's go live. Where are you? That's New York Vinnie, and he's back in Seattle, Washington.
I am back in the beautiful city of Seattle. Very happy to be here at home and, um, back here. Although, what a ride, driving up here. Anyway, he's Michael Knight, and he's in Los Angeles. And good morning, Mikey.
For one brief day, we had California covered. He had the San Francisco market, I had the LA market, and we were media mavens. We were media twins.
Yeah, if you actually held a tin can up over your head in Paso Robles, you would have heard us from both directions.
You might have even have seen us in a brief flash of reality.
Oh, there's no reality. Remember that bumper sticker in the 60s, reality sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what's going on here. Reality for not us, but I think us and by us, I say here in the United States, sucks to a certain degree. But how would you like your reality this morning to be in Ukraine?
How would you like to be the morning man in Kiev?
Well, he's probably looking for work because his tower has been knocked down or at least damaged. But you know what? I got to tell you, man, when you look at what these people are doing and what they're able to do, he's probably not out of work. He's probably right back on the air on an auxiliary generator on a set that somebody wrapped a coil around in a basement.
Don't forget, we're streaming, and you can also get our playlist on YouTube.
Yes, don't forget, you can get us on YouTube. And I mean, how proud of you are these people?
I'm worried because here's what's going to happen in my mind. We said we're not going in, and we're not going in. We're going to fight you at the borders of NATO and no further, not another inch. We will defend the NATO territory to the last inch, but we will not cross the border. We're going to stand here and we're going to watch you as you torture and bomb and strafe and burn and missile innocent people. And how long do you think we're going to be able to watch that, Vinnie?
Not long.
How long can we watch that before you say, okay, I was walking to my car, I wasn't going to get into this bar fight, but now this has gone too far. I'm in. And if you're in for a penny, as they say, you're in for a pound. There's no halfway, which means all-out war on the ground and in the air and in the sea between the United States, NATO forces, and Russia in Europe. That you have no other choice.
Well, World War III. I mean, basically,
as they call it, World War III.
Yeah, we're basically looking at World War III in the face. We're looking at 1939 here.
Because you can't say we didn't know what was happening. Oh, we had no idea the camps were there. No, we got telephones and we got satellite imagery, and we have everything that you can imagine. We're going to broadcast this war absolutely live. You want to see the shells hit the building? We were there. We got the footage. You want to see the anchor get blown off his stoop when he's trying to do a stand-up tonight at 6 o'clock? We have the video. We have it all. We have this war right down to the babies dead in the street. You're going to get to see every single thing. You thought Vietnam was televised. Just wait for this. You thought that the arrival of shelling in Baghdad was television worthy. Now we got it, every single shell. Vinnie, how long can you wait? How long will we wait? Well, last night we said we won't do it.
Last night he said we won't do it, but listen, you can't take any option off the table with this guy. First of all, let's talk about the situation this morning, and you can see the U.S. setting this up.
Yep.
This morning, the ambassador goes to the United Nations and says, we have evidence, we have proof that Putin is using banned types of bombs, vacuum bombs,
right,
and cluster bombs, which are banned by the Geneva Convention. We have proof that he's using those. The vacuum bombs suck all the oxygen out of the air, and they collapse people's lungs, and they you don't even have to go boom. You just suck all the oxygen out of the air. They might not even know it's happening.
Right.
And all
Too
of a
late.
sudden, he's dropped dead in the street. Man,
how can it be over before it started? It's over because that bomb hit the room, and it's over.
And the cluster bombs, which are bombs that spread shrapnel. You know, it's basically a number of bombs together that explode and send shrapnel all over the place, cutting people in half. So you have these weapons that they are using and that they have ready to use,
and not on an army, but on citizens.
and right, and that's the point, on citizens, on innocent people, on people that do not want this fight. And so you're not trying to just take over a country, you're trying to eliminate, you're trying to genocide, you're trying to take out the Ukrainian people because they're resisting you.
That's right. They don't like
That's
you, and they
the
said
only
so.
reason, because they have the balls to stand up to you and
Right.
to say to you, screw you. And that calls for, when you have somebody doing that, Michael, in my estimation, if you let him get away with it,
He's coming for you. Why wouldn't he?
he's coming for you. He's coming here at some point. This is not a thing of where you say, well, you know, he's give me Ukraine and the heck with it. This guy is coming for whatever he wants, and he wants the United States. He's shown that over the past 10 years. So, I mean, he is. So what do?
We could turn to the Republicans. They probably have a plan.
Yeah, well, they stood up last night, finally. I don't think they have a plan, Michael. I don't think anybody has a solid plan. I think right now that there are people sitting in a room saying, okay, what happens if we launch a nuclear attack on these people?
Or what if we just take out their line of communication? What if we just take out their line of supply? What if we just take out these 40 trucks? What if we just take out this or that? What if we just say it's a no-fly zone? You may not fly over Ukraine, and we'll enforce it.
Well, I think that's the first thing that's going to happen, and it wouldn't surprise me if this thing is true about the bombs this morning that we're hearing from the ambassador. I think that you do have to start to really take that first step. And say,
that means
fly
Vinnie,
over Ukraine, we are going to blow you out of the sky. We're going to send jets there. They're going to park on the ground. If one of them gets touched, if you fly a plane into that airspace, we're going to take your ass out. But
that means you have to enforce it right back to the Russian border.
Right. You got to be ready, though. And here's the clicker. You got to be ready for Putin to push the button. Because I'm going to tell you something. And I read this, and we talked about this Friday. I don't think he looks right.
Oh, no. He's got a limp. Something's wrong.
Something's
they say
wrong.
that there's a neurological problem with this guy, which means his brain ain't working like it used to.
Right. There's something going on with him. Now, whether he now says, well, you know, if I'm going, I'm taking the world with me.
All of yous, as they say.
And so now you start to think, well, at some point here, the Russian oligarchs who now can't put their ATM cards in a machine and get $5 out.
Right.
Say, wait a second. Maybe having the old Soviet Union back isn't worth it. Maybe it's better for us to have our country and stay here and rob what we're going to rob, and that's it.
We thought it was wonderful the way it was working. How come it's not working that way anymore?
Yeah, it wasn't working so bad. We had these yachts, we had these ships, we had these planes, we had these apartment buildings, we had investments. Now we got nothing.
You know what's for sale? Chelsea Football Club is for sale because Abramovich, the Russian oligarch who owns frozen. Don't freeze. Oh, Vinnie, don't freeze. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you just froze too. I don't know what's going on.
Hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah.
There you are. You're okay. I think we're back.
Yeah, it's saying my internet connection is unstable here this morning. So it's, you know, with all the rain and everything. Who the
Yeah.
heck knows?
Anyway, you look good right now. You're fabulous. Don't leave me.
All right, let's do this. We are recording this, so let's keep going, and
Okay. I
we'll
think we're
post
up.
it. We'll post it when we're done if it doesn't come back. It still says that we're streaming live on Facebook, so
I think we are.
let's act as if, as they say, right?
So we're stuck with it. You're an oligarch in London. You're selling your Chelsea football team for as many millions as you can get. But will they give him the money? If that thing sells, he can't receive cash for this. So
Yeah,
there's
he
a
can't.
problem there.
Right now, the way things are going, you can't. If you gave one of these guys a check for $5, he couldn't go into any bank and cash it.
He might
Even
not
in
be able to.
Switzerland.
No, nowhere on earth.
Which is, traditionally where you go and hide your money. The people that hide the money have said, that's it. You guys are no longer a part of the world community.
And we've dealt with some interesting people, from Genghis Khan to Adolf Hitler to Joseph Stalin. We've dealt with them all. Pol Pot, he still has his account here. He never comes by anymore, but he still has his account.
Yeah, he hasn't been around in a while. We gave him a calendar back in 1973, and we haven't seen him since.
And we told him, come in, get your toaster, but nothing, not a word.
We mailed it. It keeps coming back. He'll show up someday.
He'll show up. He's a good man.
That's the great thing about the numbered bank account, is that all of the little goodies that we give you, we keep them in a box for you.
Yeah, you come, you collect them all. Mrs.
Yeah.
Pot, how wonderful.
Everything. You should have seen those coins we gave out for, what was it, 2007.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Pot, but you're not a signatory. Is Pol with you? No
Yes.
Pol Pot?
Call Pol, tell him to come down, or at least have him send us an email. Anyway, so, it's tragic. It's so tragic what we're seeing, what we're hearing about. Yet there's this thing where you're looking at these people, and every time you hear from somebody, every time you see somebody interviewed, every time you see Zelensky, every time you see one of these Ukrainian people being interviewed, or film of them, or video and whatever, your heart opens up.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be, how interesting, how crazy would it be if it wound up that the Ukraine was what brought the United States in some ways back together? I mean, I don't have any grandiose ideas that everybody's going to give away their feelings against each other, but there's something ingrained in American people that when they see that situation, it's like a good movie.
Yeah.
It touches you. I mean, what's going on over there is what Hollywood script writers try to build into, all these movies.
And it's the one thing that everyone should think about next time they decide to start a war. It's called the unintended consequences. And if Russia has a list of anything right now, they've got a list of unintended consequences. Hey, here's 20 things we didn't think were going to happen. Well, they happened to you, and they happened in 6 days. 6 days. Now, it's only going to get worse. It's all going to be televised. The Western world's going to watch. How long before Germany? How long before Italy? How long before somebody says, nope, not going to take any more. We're going in. We're driving in from the Polish border, the one open border. How come we can't get enough materials in through that border to fight these guys off? There's no one there guarding anything. It's the wide open border to the west. From Poland, we can take Ukraine, and that's the way it's going to be.
Well, I guess you have to ask yourself. I mean, it almost becomes, to me, a race between two things. Who gets to Putin first before or does Putin? I guess the third thing is
the guys with all the stuff on their shoulders and hats. Those are the guys.
Yeah, at some point, those guys have to go to him, and one of three things are going to happen. Number one, he's going to stand up and say, geez, I made a big mistake here. I'm sorry. And we're withdrawing our troops.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Two, he's going to get a cold. And he's going to get the famous Andropov cold.
Those are terrible. Those are very hard to get over. Very hard to
You won't see
shake.
Vladimir anymore. No, I won't see him
No.
anymore. And he'll all of a sudden just there'll be a state funeral, and they'll put him next to Lenin. And wouldn't
And
that be just ironically delicious?
that would be ducky. That would be so ducky. And we'd never get the details, but apparently he took a turn for the worse.
He took a turn off in the wrong office door, and you know,
He walked in on something he shouldn't have seen.
and yeah, and he walked in on his own demise, or with a coalition of people are are going to be oligarchs. It's going to be the old mafia model.
Right. Hey, everything was going so well until you screwed it up.
Right. Everything was going, it wasn't perfect, but it was going okay. We're all making cash here. And now all of a sudden you decided that, you got to go on TV.
You got to do it your way. Yeah. You want to talk to the press. I told you not to talk.
Yeah. And you got to get all the attention on us.
I said low profile. What do you do? What do you do for a low profile?
Then you read Frank Costello's story. Well, you're not going to get to retire like he did.
What do you think Meyer Lansky said about being the little guy, being quiet, living a simple life?
Said there was a lot to it. It's how you get to the end.
It's how you get to be an old man in this business. Well, there's going to be cannoli, and they can leave the gun. Cannoli for everybody.
And then the fourth option, I guess, is that Putin just figures out that he's in a no-win situation, and he just tries to take the world with him.
I think what we're going to work toward is a ceasefire, and after that ceasefire, Putin will be hard to locate. Where is he? He went to his dacha down in Shmegologaj. No, he went to
Spolpakia. He went to Mardel Spolpakia.
Yeah, the Spolpakia Riviera.
Where the sun never sets, or rises for that matter.
Either one, but the sun does nothing in Spolpakia's Riviera. The sun's not even a factor.
Doesn't do anything. They have to have large heat lamps down there.
It doesn't do anything. What kind of a Spolpakian sun is this? It's our kind of sun. It does nothing.
Yeah, we made it ourselves. Yeah. There's a big plane flying very slowly over the beach and has a paper cutout sun.
That's him over there. That's Larry.
National Airlines.
Larry made the sun. Larry, he'll make you one. You can take it home with you.
It's on our national flag. Now, I think those right now are the scenarios, Michael. And I don't know how it winds up any other way. I mean, the fourth option, which is him getting so nuts that he pushes a button. I don't know that anybody, see, the thing is with Putin, he doesn't have to ask anybody. There's no code. It's just like in a box next to his bed.
Do you think there's no codes that he's got all that in his head and he can start the war anytime he wants?
He probably has like a red button next to his bed. Boom, you hit it and they go to rockets. Now
you could hit that red button just getting your scone in the morning.
Exactly. What happens if you spill your tea on it?
I don't like the sound of that.
Now, will the generals, the people who are in charge of shooting those things, will they comply with him?
Because you're signing your own death warrant.
Well, yeah, because that the United States isn't going to go, oh, gee, well, yeah, we didn't like Seattle that much anyway. So
no, there's room there. There's room there for development now.
Yeah, people don't take kindly to that kind of thing. So so Biden would be forced into shooting back, and so you take out Moscow, and if you take out Moscow, you're taking out a bunch of those generals. The people in Russia don't seem to have a stomach for this thing.
No.
We certainly don't have a stomach for it.
NATO doesn't have a stomach for it.
But it's going to turn it into a very necessary.
And the only guy with a stomach for it is making the dogs dinner. The whole thing. It's a tragedy, an unnecessary, unforced, unnecessary tragedy.
And clearly, as pictures continue to come out of Ukraine, the entire world is looking at this and saying, and I'm sure that they're probably looking at it in on other planets as well.
Well, I hope so. What took him? Where was our space brothers? Is their idea of non-involvement going to extend this far? They can stop the whole thing. And of course, it's just like every time Seattle gets in trouble, they want Paul Allen's money to save them, or they want somebody with $7 million. Jeff Bezos. Why doesn't Jeff Bezos save us? Well, right now, the world is going to look at the United States and say, why don't they save us? Why don't they do what they say they're going to do? Why don't they fight for freedom? Why don't they get in the middle of this? Why don't they stop it? There's only one power on earth that can stop Russia. Why doesn't he do it? Why doesn't he say he's going to do it? Why doesn't he make them do it? Why doesn't he insist on doing it? Why doesn't he begin to do it? The pressure is going to be on Biden.
I think, and I think, Michael, you have to. I mean, Biden's got to walk a really interesting and bizarre line here. I mean, he can't just send troops there and start World War III. I mean, he can't do it again. I don't think the American people have the stomach for that.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So
we want it surgically finished.
Right.
No muss, no fuss.
Right. And we've spent all this time developing these weapons that, kill the soldiers and don't kill the civilians or a few civilians, I mean, but the outrage of Putin and what he's doing here. And, it's interesting in listening to last night's State of the Union address.
Mm-hmm.
When Biden was talking, he purely put this on where it belonged, on the shoulders of Putin.
One man is responsible.
It's not Russia that's doing this. It's Putin that's doing this. And that was one of the big takeaways that I took from his speech. I took a number of them away, but he squarely is trying to separate Russia, the nation, from Putin, the psychopath, the murderous.
It's like we could walk right into the Kremlin. Well, which room is Vladimir's? We just want to have a word with him. Delivery, Amazon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Send them some Amazon. Although Apple cut them off yesterday too. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think you can buy a stamp in Moscow right now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and listen, I don't think. Does he have enough police and troops to stop everybody if they come out of their houses?
What's to say that the troops will turn first? They probably haven't been paid and they haven't had breakfast.
Well, I'm talking about his internal police force.
That's what I mean too.
Yeah,
there's no money to pay anybody.
Yeah, if the Russian people come out, I mean, now they're going to the banks, and the banks won't cash their checks.
The bank said, "You thought we were a bank, but as of yesterday, we're not a bank.
We're not.
Sorry.
We hold money in this room.
We've got a big building, and we got a guy in a suit, but we're not a bank."
So, there's a lot of things at work here. And I guess the thing that you look at and that you see is that how much do you as the United States lay back here and wait for either him to come to his senses?
Not going to happen.
Which I don't think is going to happen. Or better heads to prevail in Russia and for him to get a cold.
And how many people have to die before we can make up our mind on that? Because you can't tell everybody in Kyiv to just lay low. There's 3 million people left behind. You can't just be cool, stay in your apartments. We're going to see how this. We're We're going to see how this plays out in a week or so.
They're firing rockets into their apartments. They're firing, they're blowing up their buildings.
Yes, they are.
It's not like, stay inside. The troops are coming down the street.
Nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming. Your grandfather and your father and your brothers are out in the street making Molotov cocktails. I love the story yesterday of the brewery in Kiev that they were all sitting around 200 people making Molotov cocktails with the beer bottles.
Yep.
Great
With a special
stuff.
label on them. Special label.
Yeah, special label. Screw you, Russia.
Yep.
And so without a doubt, the Russian army is running into a resistance that
did you see that?
I don't think they were told about.
Did you see that video of 20 women banging on the side of a Russian car driving through a Kiev street?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was frightening. You want to go up against those 20 women? If he had opened the door, they'd have torn him to pieces.
You had to take them out. They had to stab them to death with hairpins.
They weren't messing, and they weren't mincing words. 20 women stop a truck in the middle of the street.
And you have to hope that they can hold on long enough. And I don't know if they can, Michael, because the Russians are bringing in the stuff, and they're going to start using the stuff. They've already started using the stuff.
Yeah, but they're still running out of gas. They still can't feed their troops. They still don't have the money to maneuver. They still don't have their supply lines worked out. There's a lot of things wrong with the Russian problems.
There's a lot of Ukrainians that are lying in the street, 2,000 of them so far.
When we find out what the story was about the Russian troops, we'll be amazed that they made it this far. They're fighting right now not to beat the Ukrainians. They're fighting not to be killed by the Ukrainians.
Well, I think they don't have to, then they shouldn't fight. If in fact they're fighting not to get killed by the Ukrainians, then they should just get out of their vehicles, put their hands up, and surrender, and just say we're not fighting this war.
We're not doing it.
We'll turn our tanks around, and we'll go back to the border. I think you probably have now. I don't know what these Russian soldiers have been told. The story really is. I don't know.
By now, it doesn't matter what lies they were told. They figured it out now.
Right. They figured something different out. And if you're a human being, you have to be able to see. And I think it was interesting too that there are messages being broadcast to the Russian troops there that are saying, if you fire upon innocent Ukrainians, you are committing war crimes.
Right. And
you will be arrested and tried.
And we got room for all of you.
And we have all these wonderful accommodations at the eastern end of Cuba that we'd love to introduce you to. There's a lot of your terrorist brothers and sisters that are there just waiting for you.
And it's sunnier than Slovakia.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to transport you there. If you stay right now, we're not going to do anything. You turn your tanks around and you get the hell out of here. I mean, what's Putin going to do?
Those Russian transmissions, yeah. Well, he's about ready to panic. You can see him pacing in his room. You think that he's conducting this war with certainty? He must have so many self-doubts. He must have so many reasons to believe that he's done the wrong thing.
I don't know that he does, Michael. I go back to the part of me that looks at him, and again, I said, I'm afraid the guy doesn't look right. He may be in, you know how people get when they get a little shingada. All of a sudden, there's no reason, there's no rhyme, there's no way to justify what they're doing on the outside, but in their minds, walking up the street with no clothes on is perfectly normal.
Then we should put out a poster, wanted, dead or alive. Do the right thing.
Laden, didn't it?
It did. Where did he end up? In an apartment building in Pakistan.
It wasn't even an apartment building. It looked like a It looked like one of those two-story houses near the Mexican border, you know, with the abandoned cars on the front lawn.
It wasn't palatial digs by any means.
Yeah, it wasn't where
And
he
Saddam, and
probably,
Saddam, and Saddam Hussein got found in a hole
yeah. And where did they get Gaddafi?
on the front of his car.
Yeah. So I mean, these people, these dictators, I mean, they when you know the world gives them a certain amount of license,
For some
but at
reason.
some point, and maybe that's the world's mistake, is to give these kind of
Yeah.
people a certain amount of license and not to stop them the minute they start their atrocities. Putin's been getting away with this crap for years.
22 years he's been in power.
Grozny and Chechnya and the other parts of Ukraine that they went into.
Georgia, Crimea.
Syria. I mean, it's he's been getting away with stuff for years, and everybody's been kind of just sitting back. And here's Trump, who is up until yesterday, and maybe is still extolling his virtues.
Well, he's a genius. They both are.
And but I think they're both cut of the same cloth. They're both probably syphilis-addled, swashbucklers.
Tailors call that kind of cloth the turd cloth. Yeah, they were cut from a turd cloth. How much do you have? We have enough for 2 more suits. We'll give one to Vladimir and give one to Donald, and that's it. No more turd cloth.
And in this country, we just unelect people like that. We impeach them.
Yes.
And with any kind of normal Congress, any kind of normal group of people.
Do you think the Republicans are trying to forget that they supported Putin through all this?
Some of them probably not. Some of them probably still do. Some of them probably think that this is, that this is going to work out for the better. What was the figure I saw on Sunday? I think 47% of the Republican Party thought that Putin was doing a better job than Biden.
Well, he's doing a different job, that's for sure.
I mean, let's face it. And listen, I have Republican friends and people I know that are Republicans that are in Putin's corner here.
And what are you going to do with someone like that's in front of you in a line at a gas station? How are you going to act? How carefully must you tread?
I'd like to throw them a match so when they look in their car to see where the gas hole is, they'll be on their gas hole. So what did you think of the State of the Union speech last night?
Well, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden as an orator. He's not a good orator. He has a way of maligning and messing up the most important lines. But he did a good job last night, and it was well focused, and it was too long. He wanted to get in every single plan that he'd ever thought of. He should have just hit him with the heavy stuff and then left him laughing. But he did a good job. He painted the Republicans into a psychological corner where they had to support him on some things. Of course, they won't support him on any social projects here at home, like voting for Americans or equal pay for women or women's rights in any form whatsoever, including the right to abortion or any rights that have to do with the equitable application of law to people of color. That's something a Republican will never give in on because that's the basis of their existence. It's way beyond politics. It's why they're alive, to bring misery to other people that aren't like them, and to affiliate themselves with murderers, revolutionaries, cajolers, sorcerers, evildoers, and the worst form of life on our planet. That's their job, and that's what they've done a good job of.
Sorcerers, I like that. I like that you threw sorcerers in there. So in other words, most people named Merlin would immediately be a Republican.
Merlin would not hang with this crowd, he would not. But there are people doing black magic who love the ideas behind their ideas. The Proud Boys sorcerers.
Yeah, Yeah, sorcerers. Yeah, reprobates. I mean, it's almost like the line at when they're recruiting the people to take over the town in Blazing Saddles. You know, and
Yes.
they got the line going. There's just Nazis and there's bikers and there's
We'll take all.
Yeah.
In desperate times, we'll take all comers.
It's almost like that. I wonder if they
Hey, you Nazis and bikers, your country needs you now.
maybe what Zelensky should do is build a toll booth on the border between Russia.
That's a ruble. No, we don't take rubles. We don't take rubles.
We don't take
dollars
you
only.
have to have exact change.
Yeah.
So they got to go back.
You knew the rules before you came here. You knew we had toll roads. I'm sorry, but here you go. and it's extra because of the axles on your trucks. It's extra. So what am I? Well, you knew that 8 axles.
It's
you're
extra,
done.
and yeah, sorry, but you have to the Vladimir Zelensky freeway.
Yeah. We say it's a freeway, but it's not free. It's pay as you go. So let's pay.
Yeah, the Vladimir Zelensky Parkway. maybe that's what we need, Michael.
Maybe and you're gonna like it. It goes around Kyiv. No, you know, it used to go right into town and you'd be there stuck for an hour. Now it goes around. So you're gonna you gotta get a good look at the Spolpaka Riviera.
The Riviera and the frontier right behind it.
Yeah.
The only problem is the Spolpakia frontier is on the other is on the wrong side of the beach. It's in the water.
And believe me, they know that it's a design flaw, but they just can't fix it.
See our frontier. Bring a wetsuit.
Yes, and a mask and fins.
Nobody admitted to the frontier without a mask.
Yeah, and it's a pay-as-you-go frontier. So let's go and let's pay.
Let's pay. But yeah, with the State of the Union, yeah, I thought that Biden did a very good job. I mean, you're right. He's not in order. You know, the stutter gets in his way and he talks ahead of himself sometimes. But I thought that he did a good job of, I mean, I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more forceful.
Yes.
With Putin, but I was listening to CNN as I was driving back up, and somebody made a good point. Is he didn't want to force Putin into a corner.
Diplomatically, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, just right now, it's not the right time to do something like that, and I could see their point. I wish he would have been a little bit more forceful on telling people in this country that we have to get together and stand behind these people.
This threat will not be over when Ukraine is over. There's still going to be a problem.
This is not just about Ukraine. This is about our way of life. These people want our way of life. We've been trying to force it on people for years, and we finally found somebody that wants it,
and we won't give it to them.
And we won't help them with it. So we as Americans, dig into your pockets, send money to Ukrainian relief funds, do what you can. If you do business with Russian firms, tell them you don't do business with them anymore until it stops. Whatever you in your world can do to support these people. He could have stood up and said, you know what? It's as simple as taking one of those things like I have on my Facebook profile and saying, I support Ukraine. And I think they missed a little bit of an opportunity there to, again, unite us through what's going on over there. Because no matter, unless you're an idiot, unless you're a Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody like that.
Good God.
Or I don't know if you heard the Republican response that governor from Iowa, what a tool she is.
My God, what a horrible speaker.
Not just a horrible speaker. She was saying things that Biden had said the opposite.
That's
So now I
that's
don't know
the.
if they recorded it before the State of the Union or they just, they figured you can lie to people and they'll believe it.
Here's the truth. I'm going to lie to you, and this is
Yeah,
the truth.
I'll lie to
I'm
you.
lying to you.
I'm going to tell you that Biden said this and Biden said that when he said the exact opposite.
But it's okay. I get a response time, so they're going to have to carry my remarks.
Yeah.
My remarks are lies, and I'm telling you that this is the truth. My remarks are lies.
Last night would have been the perfect time for them, the Republicans, to say, listen, we stand, we may not agree on social issues, we may not agree on many things, but on this we do agree.
But she didn't say that.
No, she didn't say that. That we stand with our president, we stand behind him, and we stand for the liberation. No, it's not even a liberation, really. It's just we stand for the defense of the Ukraine.
Well,
And,
her president is Donald Trump, and he thinks that
that's it.
Putin
He would be
yeah,
holding hands with Putin right now.
right.
I mean, I don't think the Ukraine people would get anything out of Donald Trump. He would be telling Putin, yeah, you can take it.
Paper towels. We have paper towels left over from Katrina. You can have them.
Yeah, we got a bunch of these paper towels. Remember, I was throwing them out to Puerto Rico a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
You can have
they
them.
loved it. They still love me down there. They've never seen anybody like me down there.
Matter of fact, you go up to East Harlem and ask the Puerto Rican people up there how they like me.
And they'll tell you all about the paper towels.
I'm actually, they have a little nickname for me. They call me Mr. Whipple.
Well, yeah, they mean it kindly though. It could be taken two ways.
Yeah, they don't squeeze, but they call me the bounty guy. Oh, yeah. No. There's a bounty on my head. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Will you take Ivanka? You can have her if I can go. She'll stay. I'll go out and find some money.
Yeah, I mean, I've sold her before. I'll sell her again.
Sell. That's my motto. Negotiate. The art of the deal.
Yeah, the art of the deal. Yeah. I want Donald Trump telling me how to make a deal. Yeah, here's the art of the deal. Sign a paper that you never intend to abide by. Steal some money that you never intend to pay back, and
say millions of things that aren't true, but you say they are.
And then have people work for you and tell them that, well, listen, we just you really didn't do the work for me. You did the work for my company, and my company is now bankrupt. So bye.
Yeah, bye. And I just want to say that it was great.
Sue me if you really.
Yeah, take me to court. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I have a gaggle of lawyers. And if you want to meet Rudy Giuliani in a dark alley,
that's where he lives.
That's where you'll get.
Rudy lives. That's where Rudy lives. Now he hangs out. The alley doesn't have to be dark, but it does have to be an alley.
Wouldn't it be grand if they could connect Trump to Putin and in some way, Putin, him calling up Putin and offering him support or offering him some kind of aid and comfort, I guess is what you would call it.
It's the other way around. He's going to call and say, what about our hotel deal? Now, don't screw up that block in Moscow. I have plans for that when we're done here. Don't forget, we had a deal about that hotel. Don't forget.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that Trump isn't living over there already.
It's sunny. Spolpakia is a sunny place, but not as sunny as Mar del Lago.
I fully expected. Here's what I don't understand, Michael. How could anybody go on a golf course with Trump?
You're there for hours. You're there with him for hours.
I mean, how could any self-respecting person go on a golf course with him? How could any self-respecting person sit in a room when he's up on stage bloviating about how wonderful Vladimir Putin is? How could anybody not get up and walk out of that room?
Well, if you make pillows for a living, it's really good for mail orders.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
everybody needs a pillow.
Opiate maker.
Same thing.
Yeah, you basically don't give a crap about human life.
No, you gotta hang with people that will hang with you. Hey, did you hear the ship sank? The ship full of Porsches and Bentleys went down.
I did not hear that.
Yep, it's in Davy Jones's locker, and Davy Jones is driving a Porsche and a Bentley at the same time.
You know what? That is probably the best solution for all.
Yeah,
Except for, because
except for the car
insurance will
makers.
pay him. The only thing that is bad about that is we probably won't know exactly what started the fire.
No. Hey, do you think any of those Bentleys were intended for oligarchs?
Could be.
Could
They
be.
tend to buy Bentleys.
They like Bentleys. They like custom-made Bentleys made just for them with their name on them.
Yeah, it could have been, one for the Miami oligarchy fleet.
And it says right there, especially for Biff Sugarman. But he'll never get it. He'll never drive it. He'll never own it. He'll never have fun putting the top down on a sunny day because it's at the bottom of the ocean.
If you want to pick up your car, here's the key.
Yeah. It should respond to your fob for the next 30 days. After that, we can't guarantee anything.
Right.
When the salt water gets to it.
I think that's the best solution for everybody is that it just it goes down and there's just because
that finish it. That's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, that's the end of it. It joins a long lore of, because it's not the good thing is nobody's going to go down after it. It's not a cargo that's so worth going down and trying to, get to or anything like that. Maybe in 100 years, somebody will say, "Oh, there's a bunch of Porsches down here. Let's take the Skugga Bassosphere down there and, see what they look like." But
they burn for 2 weeks, so it's not going to be a pretty sight.
Yeah, right now the fish there's a fish guy, there's this fish salesman down there.
How much will you buy it? Will you buy it
to put you in this Porsche today?
Yeah, buy it and drive it today.
Delivery expected anytime now.
Yeah, it's coming. They're coming. Believe me, they're arriving.
They'll be first Porsche dealer in Atlantis.
We had Bentleys before, centuries ago, but
yes, and we were good with Marlins. Had a lot of Marlins.
Oh God.
Had a lot of Marlins. Yeah. Cars named after fish.
I bet some of those cars were probably intended for Major League Baseball players who now have no way to pay them.
But did Biden sanction them last night too? Missed it.
Well, if you're taking down oligarchs all over the world, it's by accident. You could probably get a few baseball owners in there without meaning to, and Jerry Jones besides.
Yeah, what a mess. That's they're going to kill this game. They're going to kill the game, Mikey. They're going to somehow, some way, they're going to figure it out. The game that you thought that nobody would ever be able to kill, they're going to figure out a way to do it.
And when they come to an agreement, the agreement's only for 2 years, so they're sure to hold all their grievances for the next time and say, this time we're going to stop those players. This time we're going to shut them down. We're going to roll back wages. We're going to roll back their health and benefits. We're going to roll back what we have to pay them in the minor leagues. We're going to roll it right back to 1952 when Mickey Mantle was starving in the offseason. We'll fix them the way we want to fix them. We'll show them how. We'll show them who's boss. We'll show them who owns this team. We'll show them who owns the game.
Yes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that makes me think now, are Italian restaurants now no longer going to serve puttanesca?
No way. Give it another name. Vinnie-esca.
It's sad because, you know what, though, I'll tell you, Michael. On Saturday morning, I went to Auburn, California, and I saw my nephew, Daniel, play. He's a freshman in his high school, McClatchy High School, his team. And I got more joy out of sitting there watching him. And although I hate the aluminum bat thing, but but to see to see these kids play the game because they love it, to see the camaraderie, to see the brotherhood, to see the guys learning, and he's good. I mean, there's some kids on that team that are really good. That I think I wouldn't be surprised if 1, 2, or 3 of them at least got college scholarships and maybe even got a taste in the major leagues, because there's a few of them that are that good. A long way away, but
yeah, they can still play.
But they can play, and it just did my heart good to sit there and watch these kids play baseball. And maybe that's where we're going to have to go to find the game that we love.
Semi-pro.
Is either semi-pro, maybe it's because I'm starting to get done with the arguing and the hassling and the this and the that. I mean, it's where I don't even want to pay attention to it anymore.
Here's what it looks like when two sides make up their mind not to agree.
And then on top of it, you have guys that can't hit through a shift.
Yeah.
Are always on their heels trying to hit home runs.
You can't stand over there because that's where I want to hit it. There's got to be a rule. Can't stand over there.
Yeah, I want to hit it there, so you can't stand it. And then you have every nut job coming out of the woodwork telling you how you can stop the shift. The one I liked was, the infielders can't leave the infield, the dirt on the infield. What happens if you get a short fly ball?
No, you can't go there.
Sorry, you can't. You have to stop there.
That's the outfielder's
that would have
job.
played well in Dodger State, in the Polo Grounds.
Oh, yeah. 468 feet or whatever it is to center field.
Mikey, I still tell you, they should have had a short center fielder.
It should have been Obie Landreth. I'm telling you.
That's the key. Just go up there and say, all right, we'll give you a short center fielder.
Does he have to play in center fielder? Can he come into short? Can he be a short shortstop?
He wants to do. He's short.
So he can play short left.
On a short bus. But we're at a point now where I think the average American people, if they settle it, they'll go. If they don't settle it, they'll find something else to do.
I know there's a lot of sports guys who think this is the most important thing of the year, but with all the other stuff going on in the world, baseball seriously misjudged this. They seriously misjudged it. They mistimed it. It's a mess, and nobody cares about your mess, baseball, because there's bigger and better and badder things going on in the world. And look at you two idiots agreeing to never agree.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like during the pandemic, when the pandemic was at its peak. All right, we're going to play. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's nice that you're going to play. It's nice that the games are on, and I'll check them out. But it didn't have the feel, and it didn't have the soul to it. Half the guys looked like they didn't want to be there.
What if the team gets sick? Oh, they're not going to get sick. They're fine. They're players. They're professional athletes. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, what happens if, you got your money for the TV contract, and for the owners, listen, it doesn't benefit them to play games. They get paid no matter what. So they, matter of fact, I think March 1st was the day that they got their checks.
Oh, that's nice.
So they got a big war chest. They got billions of dollars.
They're going to buy me a T-shirt or anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I can wait for that.
So.
No, one of the owners of the San Francisco Giants is a financial longtime supporter of Donald Trump and won't give up his affiliation with him. Won't.
Well, that would keep me from going to Giants games.
Rightly so.
I'm sure that probably if you I don't know, you pour through. Is he a majority owner or a minority? Like
he's one of the group. He's one of the he's not a spank boy, but he's not the majority owner, minority owner.
Because I think that's where you make, is the guy who's making the decisions, running the franchise. Is he a Trump guy? If he is,
Out you go.
Out you go. If he's not, you know, I mean, I guess he's got a right to like whoever he wants to like, right?
Putin's a genius. It's hard not to like him. If this is what a genius does, if this is what a genius looks like and how a genius performs, it's hard not to fall right in line behind that idea.
If you saw what you saw last night, Mikey, with the State of the Union Republicans standing up, if you're now, I didn't listen to Fox last night. I can't listen to Fox. I mean, what do you do? Do you keep spewing your Biden doesn't know what he's doing? What a horrible speech! What a I mean, now you have half of your guests that you have on your shows were standing up applauding him last night.
Yeah.
Applauding the president that they couldn't admit got elected for 6 months.
He's not their president. Donald Trump's their president, but Joe Biden is an official of the government.
You know what Joe Biden showed you last night, Michael?
I'm better than
Biden
you.
showed you last night what a president is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the most eloquent speaker, and maybe he doesn't represent the quien mas mucho macho figure, but he stood up in front of the world last night, and in not so many words, he said that we're going to be okay. I don't know if he truly believes that or he doesn't, but he stood up in front of the world last night and he said, that we're going to fight this guy, that we're not going to lie down to him.
And if you release the 60 billion gallons of fuel from our reserves, I want those gas prices to go down.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we're going to see.
We're being gouged.
Yeah, I think we're going to get gouged. I know the oil companies, man. I know how they work. And
they will never give in.
They're not good. If they see an opportunity to make coin, they'll screw you. And I think that's exactly, unfortunately, what's going to happen.
That's where we are. We're the victims of Standard Oil.
Yeah. Yep. This is what presidents since Jimmy Carter have talked about, is to get ourselves away from oil as much as we can, to have energy sources that don't entail us using oil, so that if this day would come, we would have cars that didn't use oil, or a very small amount of it.
Well, those days are almost here, but they're not here yet.
Nobody listens.
No.
To the Republicans and to the conservatives, it was just a liberal socialist ploy.
It was a hoax. The oil companies aren't against us. They're there to help us.
Yeah,
they are.
They're there to help us. What do you think they run those ads for?
Yeah, they're helping us because of the little girl running down the street with a leaf in her hand. They paid for that.
Yeah. The same people who said, let's rip up the streetcar tracks that we're now laying down again in the 21st century.
They did that for us, though, Vinnie, not for themselves.
Right. They did it so they could sell us oil.
And the tracks. Well, after they ripped up the tracks, they sold those for scrap. They sold those too.
You can't sell oil if people are taking streetcars.
Nope. They haven't got time. They're on the streetcar.
Now, if you have buses, well, we can sell oil to the bus companies.
That's a good idea. I'll give them a call.
Give them a call and see if Triborough Coach is interested in.
See if anybody needs gasoline for the day.
And that's why all those bus companies are now run by cities.
Yeah.
Because that was such a good idea.
That was a fabulous idea.
Hey, before we go, I want to show you something. My good friend, Ellen, who lives down in San Francisco, heard us talking about White Castle. She's a fellow New Yorker.
No.
And so she found this and gave it to me. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can.
Put it in front of you. There you go.
But this is the mug from the 60s that they used to serve White Castle coffee in.
Wow.
And there's the old White Castle logo right there. It's a small cup. I mean, it's, they must have made a lot of money on this coffee at 10 cents a cup. But this truly came from the era when somebody said, "Can you loan me a dime for a cup of coffee?"
You know what that makes me want?
What?
A White Castle burger.
Well, go to your supermarket. They're probably right in the freezer.
You
And
know, I've looked. I don't see those. I'm gonna have to check another store.
yes, I know Safeway has them, or whatever the equivalent of Safeway. But thank you, Ellen, for this wonderful.
A little bit of history. You can drink
Yeah, a
out of
little bit of
that.
history and a little bit of sadness because these, they have these, and then they used to serve breakfast on plates, or if you went into the White Castle to get something to eat, you sat at the counter or something, then you ordered 5 cheeseburgers or something. They would come on a plate with this logo on it as well.
Ah, that's great.
So now I got to find the plate. But thank you, Ellen, for that. It means a lot to me, man. This is when I saw this, I almost started crying.
And remember, when you order your quarter pounder with cheese, it comes on paper. The paper it's wrapped in.
Well, they don't have quarter pounder. It would take probably 9 of their beef patties to get a quarter pounder. Yeah, you'd probably have to go about 9. They are the thinnest burgers you're ever going to see.
Well, when you get 5 on your plate, you look at it and you go, "This is 5. I'm going to need 5 more."
Yeah.
I'll work on these. You work on those.
Well, see, that's the drunk thing with them. You see, that's the thing when you drink, when you're drinking and you go in there and you sit down and you order 5 and they bring it to you on the plate, 4 into 1 on top with the pickles. You start eating, you go, "This isn't going to do anything. This is going to soak up anything. I need more. 5 more, please.
5 more, please."
5 more." And the one behind the counter with the white dress and the hand net. She goes, "Okay, 5 on 1." Or 5 cheeseburgers on 1. And the cheeseburgers were special, Michael, because they would put the pickle and the ketchup and the piece of cheese in there. And then they had this machine, which you see in California, used to steam tortillas.
Yes.
It has that handle, the handle that goes down and then it comes up. And when it comes up, the tortillas have been magically steamed and hot. Well, that's how they used to melt the cheese on the cheeseburgers. Is they would take that and put it down, and when it came up, they had the cheeseburgers.
Melted.
And they put a certain moisture into the bun.
They sure did.
So now you have this. It doesn't feel like any hamburger you've ever felt before. See, that's part of it. Is it doesn't feel like a hamburger.
It's been infused.
It's been infused with something, and it's like kind of wet and kind of
limp,
pliable almost. Just. But boy, when you bite into it, it's like heaven. Yeah, the bun doesn't taste like bread. It tastes like this whole conglomeration of flavor together.
Oh, I want one. Damn, stop it.
You have all of these different, you have the onions and the ketchup and the pickle and the cheese and the bread, and each one is wetter and moister than the other. You don't need teeth to eat a White Castle hamburger.
Just the will to do it.
You just got to find your mouth. When you find your mouth, you can eat one.
And then you can order 5 more.
And then you can say 5 on 1.
Let's hope when we talk on Freaky Friday, we'll have a better world, Vinnie.
Yes. Let's pray that happens. And it's good to be back up in Seattle. Nice trip to California, and a lot of time to think about things. And we'll talk.
I'll be over to your place. I'm starving right now. We got to go to Dick's.
Dick's has like a similar thing going with the bun too. A good hamburger, you don't taste the bun. It's all one thing.
It's a thing. Yeah.
It's all one thing. That's what hamburger places don't get when they give you these fancy buns. No, it's all got to be one thing.
That's our motto. Mikey and Vinnie in the morning. It's all got to be one thing.
It's all got to be one thing. All
There you
right,
go.
Mikey. Listen, thanks to all our people out there. Thanks so much for listening to us. We'll catch up with you on Friday for a
Yeah, join us on Friday for the free trip to Spopakia's Riviera. You don't want to miss that one. Someone's got to win. Someone's going to go. So let's go. Join us on Friday.
Some got to win, some got to lose. And good time. Vladimir has the blues.
Boy, don't he though? And the bluer it gets, the better I'll feel.
Exactly. All right, Mikey. Peace. And we'll see if Friday after Let's Roll the Creek Don't Rise. To all of you out there, go get yourself a Ukrainian flag and fly it. Put it on the back of your pickup truck. Show these people that were standing behind them. Wear the colors, the yellow and the blue. Unless you went to Cal, then you probably have the colors around anyway.
Or you went to Spopakia and you don't believe in that stuff.
Or spoke you.
Yeah. SU.
Spoke you. All right, Mikey. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, pal.
By the way, Manischewitz is available at your local store, but peace, as we've seen, is very hard to come by.
They don't have that in aisle 6, that's for sure.
No.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye now.